If you've ever felt like your business is a treadmill that only moves when you're the one running, you are probably hitting one of those invisible ceilings.
Right, the ones that stall something like 70% of startups.
Exactly. So today we're going to dive into this framework, scaling framework, $0 to $5 plus lend, and we're going to look at why the very hustle that gets you to $100,000.
Is the exact thing that holds you back from a million.
It's a total paradox. You have to shift from being the main doer to being the architect of the whole system.
It is. It's what we call the scaling paradox. Growth isn't linear. It's more like a series of stages. And your old habits, they actually become liabilities. You have to essentially unlearn your way to that next level.
Unlearn your way. I like that. So what are these stages?
The framework lays out four. Stage one is all about validation. That's your journey from 0 to the first 100K. The biggest red flag here is what we call founder dependency.
Founder dependency. So if the quality drops the moment, you're not personally watching over it?
You've got it. If that happens, you aren't really running a business. You're just running a very, very high-stakes job for yourself.
And that's where people get stuck, right? That jump to stage 2, optimization on the way to a million. The framework says you should be spending 50% of your time working on the business, not just in it.
Strategy, systems, hiring.
But for a founder who is used to wearing every single hat, isn't that just terrifying? I mean, how do you pull back without the whole thing collapsing?
Well, that's where stages 3 and 4 come in. Stage 3 is the enterprise level, which is up to 5 million. The big milestone here is that the business can run for weeks without you.
Weeks. Wow.
And then there's stage 4, dominance, for 5 million plus. And at that point, you stop looking just at profit and you start looking at enterprise value. You're building an asset. You're not the engine anymore. You're the one who designed it.
Okay, so let's talk about the fuel for that engine. The framework mentions a 72% growth formula, which sounds specific. I think most people assume they need to, 10x their leads or something.
Which is exhausting and almost always fails. This is about leverage. There are 3 levers: sales volume, transaction value, and retention.
Okay, so volume, value, and retention.
Right. Instead of trying to double one, you just aim for a modest 20% improvement in all 3.
Yeah.
Because they compound. That 1.2 times 1.2 times 1.2 doesn't get you 60% growth.
It gets you.
It gets you a 72.8% increase in revenue.
Yeah.
There's a difference between trying to run faster and just building a better gear system.
Building gears takes time, though. Time that founders feel they just don't have. The founder's calendar in the framework has this 2-hour rule, 2 uninterrupted hours on your most important task before you even check an email. Honestly, for someone in the chaos of stage 1 or 2, that sounds impossible. How is that even sustainable?
It's only sustainable if you first do a 30-day process documentation sprint. You have to build your SOPs, your standard operating procedures.
Because if it isn't documented...
You can't delegate it.
Yeah.
And if you can't delegate it, you're stuck doing it forever. It's about getting the business's intelligence out of your head and onto paper.
And I guess to keep those SOPs from just sitting on a shelf, the framework suggests this L10 meeting, a 90-minute weekly rhythm.
Yeah, using the IDS method. Identify, discuss, and solve. The goal is to move your rocks.
Rocks being the big mission-critical 90-day priorities, right? It's that old story. You have to put the big rocks in the jar first or they'll never fit.
Which leads right into how you offload all the pebbles and sand. We use a simple $10 $100 rule.
Okay, what's that?
You delegate the $10 admin tasks immediately. You train others for the $100 tasks. You should only be handling the $1,000 tasks like, high-level strategy. To make that work, you use the delegation escalation ladder.
I've seen leaders struggle with this. They try to delegate, but it just turns into reverse delegation. The employee brings the problem right back to the boss. How does this ladder stop that?
It changes the conversation. You train your team to climb the ladder. Level 1 is them asking, what do I do? But you coach them to get to level 4, which is, here's what I did and why.
So they bring you solutions, not problems.
Exactly. And your CRM becomes the central nervous system for all this. It automates lead capture and follow-up so that as you step back, technology ensures no balls are dropped.
So it sounds like scaling is less about just working harder and more about a complete identity shift. You have to go from being the doer to the architect.
It's a choice. You have to decide if you want to be the hero who saves the day every afternoon or the architect who builds a day that doesn't need saving.
That's a powerful way to put it. So as we wrap up, here's a final thought to leave with everyone. If your revenue doubled in the next 90 days, what is the very first thing that would break, and why aren't you fixing it today?